Welcome to another edition of Maximum Life with yours truly, Michael Norman. Listen, it is such a joy and a pleasure to be able to be with you on this day. Usually Mondays are our live broadcast, but I realize many of you don't have a chance to watch it live, so I appreciate you watching it when you do. And speaking of when you do watch it, let me just start by asking you to make sure that if you're watching on YouTube, click the like, the subscribe button. You know the routine. Do that for me. It helps so much for the broadcast. And then, of course, there are those who watch on Facebook. Do me another favor and go over to my YouTube page. And that's ultimately where most of our live broadcasts and full length videos are going to be. They're housed at YouTube. So make sure you do that as you're watching, okay? Today I want to talk about something that's very powerful because oftentimes we of the Christian faith, we believe powerfully in the fact that God intervenes in the affairs of man, and which he does. In many cases he does, in a lot of cases. As a matter of fact, in every way he does. But then that's a theological perspective that I don't have time to get into. But suffice it to say, in light of the fact that God intervenes and intersects every area of our lives and everything that we do, the very air that we breathe, obviously belongs to him. And if you haven't guessed by now, most of what I teach is going to have a very Christian undertone. So there you have it. There's that. So that being said, in light of the supernatural supremacy of God, the absolutely infallibility of God, in light of all of that, when it comes to us human beings and how we interact and how we get things accomplished here on earth, there has to be a system in place. And let me tell you from experience that I come from a culture that believed that God would do everything for you. I mean, all you got to do is pray and God does it. I mean, just kind of watch and as he works it out for you. I mean, if your light bill's behind, pray to the Lord. He'll work it out. Somehow he'll get some money somewhere and pay your light bill, pay your gas bill, pay your mortgage and all of the other responsibilities that we as human beings have here on earth. But I found out that in light of all of the supremacy and the supernatural powers of God, when it comes to success, it is not an issue of happenstance. It's not a matter of chance. It's a matter of choice. Let me say that again. Success is not a matter of chance. It's a matter of choice. There's a lot of intentionality that goes into success. Every successful person that you may have met or know or experienced, they all will tell you that while they may too believe in the supremacy of God, they realize that you have to put some feet to your faith. That you can't just talk about it. You've got to combine your speech with some movement in order to achieve the things that you desire. So I put together a few notes I want to share with you to help you understand this and a maybe greater understanding and help you to be able to achieve your goals, your aspirations, and realize that they are possible. Why? Because all things are possible. There's nothing that you can imagine that you cannot achieve. As a matter of fact, if you can imagine it, it is self-evident that it is not possible, not just possible, it is already done. Because everything that you see in the natural world or has its beginnings in the spirit world. Now, I'm a big proponent of faith. I'm a big proponent of speaking those things that you desire. Some call it manifestations and some call it decrees, affirmation, whatever you want to call it. I believe that the power of death and life are in your tongue. So if you want it, you've got to begin to declare it. But you can only declare the things that you see. And what I'm saying, I'm not talking about seeing with your natural eyes. I'm saying seeing with your mind's eye. Because if you can see it there, then that becomes the evidence that it's possible. Now, it doesn't always mean that it will show up because we don't always hold fast to the things that we see and believe. Sometimes we give up along the way. That's why I tell you it's a matter of choice and intentionality. Okay? You have to want it bad enough to believe it, work at it, work at it, work at it until it manifests. Now, I believe that God will supernaturally bring people into your path to help you achieve those things. But again, you cannot sit back and relax and think that, okay, God, I need this for me. I need you to make this happen for me. It doesn't work that way. Somebody said, then why do you pray? Well, you pray because you do need that supernatural divine intervention when it's necessary. But God will never do for you what you can do for yourself. That's a bar. You can write that in the chat. God will never do for you what you can do for yourself. That's why you don't require a move of God to help you get dressed in the morning. You don't need a move of God to help you choose what you're going to eat for breakfast, because you can do those things on your own. Now, that being said, it is important to realize, again, and I got to underscore, when it comes to success, how to be successful in this life, it is a matter of intentionality. And I know it like I've never known it before. Because in recent years, I've been doing all kinds of things to help develop and increase my bottom line. I'm an entrepreneur, and in many cases, a solopreneur. That means I'm doing everything. I've got to do the marketing. I've got to do the development. I've got to do the email. I've got to do the recalls. I've got to do the follow-up. I've got to do everything because I am a solo entrepreneur. I'm doing those things myself until it gets to the place where I have to hire out for someone else to do it. So I'm realizing there's a lot of intentionality that goes into becoming successful. You not only have to have a spiritual vision for it, but you have to have the tenacity, the day-to-day get up and get it done attitude, no matter what. Now, I woke up this morning, I didn't feel like getting up because I have 2 miles I've got to walk. I got to walk out 2 miles every morning. So when I wake up in the morning, I'm not always feeling as though I want to go out and walk these 2 miles. Sometimes I walk a brisk walk, a short run, that sort of thing. Ever since I've had the heart attack, I've spent a number of months. This happened back in October of last year. And so I spent the better part of October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May, and here it is, June, July. And so now I'm pretty much recovered to the point where I can start exercising. So I go out every morning now, 2 miles, walk it out. 1 mile going, another mile coming back. That's not something I'm looking forward to, but I look forward to the effects of it. I look forward to longevity, a healthy heart, healthy lungs. I look forward to those things, but guess what? They don't happen by osmosis. They don't happen by happenstance. They happen by determination. And if you don't get anything else out of this broadcast, remember, you must be determined, because that's what's going to fuel your discipline. And that's what's going to give you the continuity and the consistency that is necessary for success. You've got to perform at the same level every time, all the time. Why? Because as you do that, you build a brand and a certain level of trust. Well, if, say, for instance, if you're operating a gas station, we'll just use that as an example. That gas station has to be open at the same time every day. Why? Because then you built a certain level of continuity and consistency to the point that people know that you're going to be open and available at that time. You know, trust is not a matter of faith. So when we start a business, whatever it may be, people are not going to trust you in the beginning. You must earn their trust. And how do you earn their trust? It's a matter of performing at the same level on a consistent basis. If I'm running a gas station, you can always depend on that station being open at 7 a.m., 6 a.m., or whatever before the morning rush. 6 a.m., you can guarantee, unless something catastrophic happens, that is when that gas station is going to be open, or your donut shop, or your coffee shop, or your mechanic shop, whatever you may have, your business. It's an issue of continuity and consistency. I do the same work over and over at a consistent level. That's why you can trust me. Okay. And that's why you tune into this broadcast, because you know I'm going to be coming to you on a consistent level to bring you information, news that you can use, insight, tools, tips, and techniques that is going, if you do the work, it's going to bring you into a level of prosperity. It's going to bring you into a level of success. And again, success is not a matter of chance, it's a matter of choice. You have to choose to be successful and to do those things that are necessary to bring you into that level of success that you want in whatever field that might be. I mean, that permeates every area and sphere of life. So that's one of the number one things that you have to recognize, that success is a system. And so you have to develop a system. Now, what most people want to know is the key to success, but rarely asking what are the treasures in your failure. So this, one of the parts of the system is learning from your failures. If you're going to be successful in this life, you're going to have to realize that not everything is going to go according to plan. But even in those times when things don't go according to plan, there is a lesson to be learned. There is, whenever they're talking about you're taking an L, that's not a loss. That's a lesson. Okay? So those failures, those mishaps, those unexpected events that happens in life, they are not times where you're losing. They're times when you are learning. I can't tell you the number of lessons I've learned from my failures, and I've had a lot. Okay, so that makes me uniquely qualified to share where it concerns this sort of information. When it comes to business, I've started everything from a construction cleanup business where we go into new constructions and clean it up and make it spotless so that the person or resident or business can move in. I've done that. The only thing I think I've never done is worked at McDonald's or Disney. I just couldn't, for whatever reason, couldn't bring me to do that. But I've done everything else. I've done, and I've been a musician, traveled all around the country, around the world. That's been one of my main businesses that I've operated for years. But I'm saying I've had a lot of failures, ministries, and things that I've done in ministries that I consider they didn't work out the way I intended or I thought that they would work out. But I learned some very valuable lessons that I know, okay, that is not the way to achieve a certain goal. Thomas Edison once said that when inventing the light bulb, he says, I did not come up with one idea that created the light bulb. He says, I learned how to create the light bulb based on the thousands of mistakes that I made in the process. So he says, I don't consider them to be losses. I've considered them to be lessons that taught me 1,000 different ways that you cannot create the light bulb. Now, I'm not looking forward to you, me, or anyone else having to go through 1,000 iterations of something, but there is something to be said for keeping on trying, if I can get that word out. There's something to be said for someone who keeps on trying. Just keep on trying, keep on trying. Because, you know, the race is not given to the swift, but to the one who endures to the end. Because that means not the fastest one is not always going to be the one who wins the race. Because sometimes the fastest may run out of oxygen, may run out of gas before the race is over. And the one who's just steady doing it, steady as they go, just continue to be steady and moving. Next thing you know, they win the race, not even being the fastest one. How is that possible? Because they didn't quit. So there's one thing for sure. You will never win if you quit. That's guaranteed. There's not very many guarantees in life, but that one I can guarantee you that if you quit, you will never win. So that means you got to be willing to go through the iteration. Try it again. Do it again. Try it again. Do it again. Try it again. Do it again. That means try it different ways, not trying it the same way over and over. Now, they have a word for that, but trying it in different ways, different iterations. When you're in marketing, if you have a product and you're trying to bring that product to market, sometimes when you offer it to the community or to the consumer, they don't always appreciate what it is based on your marketing terminology, the wording that you used. Oftentimes the product could be something they actually need, but if your messaging is off, then the product won't be as productive. You won't be as successful. And then again, this becomes an issue of iteration. All right, I know this is what people need. There is a clear need for this product in the marketplace. Now, I've just got to get my messaging right so that they can interpret my message to the point that they realize, yes, I do need that. That is exactly what I've been looking for. Now, you can say, I've been telling you this for the last 5 or 10 weeks, but you've not responded. But what's required oftentimes is changing your message, not just your method. And sometimes your method may be okay. I mean, you can do online marketing, you can do Facebook ads, you can do Instagram ads, you can do TikTok, you can do all of those things. But if your messaging is off, then the people's perception, the way they perceive what you're offering, will not allow them to move to the point where they go and purchase it. Okay? So again, intentionality plays a big part. You have to be intentional in everything you do. And trust me, again, hear me when I tell you this, that you must do this. You must give attention to intentional. I have to be intentional about everything. Don't assume that your customers or your perceived clients understand what you're offering. Don't assume that they know where to find you. Don't assume that they know everything that you know about what you're offering them. And sometimes you have to educate. In the same way I'm doing this right now, I'm educating you on the process of success by understanding that success is not a matter of chance, it's a matter of choice. It's a very intentional thing. Success is intentional. You have to do it. So you have to be willing to educate your client, your prospective clients, whether it's clients, whether it's customers, whether it's members at your church, or whatever, your coffee shop. Maybe you like me, you're a performing musician and you're looking to build your fan base, your following base. It's a matter of intentionality and make sure that they understand. And incidentally, when it comes to music, join me. If you're watching this on Monday night, you can join me at 8 p.m. for Songs in the Night as I'm serenading you through the gift of music. So it's a little shameless plug there. Okay, so again, this is something that you have to be willing to do. You got to be willing to do this. Yeah, you've got to be willing to do it. Hi, Kimberly. Kimberly says, God will never do for you what you can do for yourself. Boom. He will never do for you what you can do for yourself. All right. So let me go on and give you a couple of more points here. Now, one of the things I found also that is very important, that just because when it comes to success, when you have a product or an idea or something you want to bring to market, please understand this. This is so important. I got to share this with you. Okay, so please listen up. We've talked a lot. Now, if you are like me, I grew up in church in a certain community of people and believers. And we were big on preaching about purpose and passion. How that your passion and your purpose are inextricably tied together. Because when you find your purpose, you will find your passion. And I don't disagree with that at all. I believe that you should find something that is purposeful to the point that it revs up your passion, that you get excited about it. But at the same time, you better make sure that you're not the only one who's passionate about it. Okay? Because again, how many people have started businesses based on their passion only to realize in a short period of time they've got to shut their business down? Why is that? It's because while they were passionate about it, making cupcakes, coffee, or whatever else they did not find the people who were equally passionate about it. So that's one of the methods you're going to have to realize. If you're going to go into business, if you're going to be an entrepreneur, if you're going to be a as I call it, a solo entrepreneur, you're going to have to realize that just because you are passionate about your idea does not mean that other people are going to be passionate about it. Okay? So you have to be willing to do the homework. Go find those people who feels just as passionate about those things as you do. Find those people who are equally motivated by the same things that motivate you. And when you do that, you're going to find the most success. You're going to find that people are going to notice you. You're going to have less heartache. Trust me when I tell you, you're going to have less heartache, less stress, and more success, because now you know where to find those people who believe and have the same passion as you concerning those things that you want to bring to market. Okay? So find out who those people are, where those people are, and then of course start catering to those people. Not to everybody. Not everyone is called to you. Not everyone is going to appreciate your gift. So you have to realize that and find the ones who will and cater to them. Find the people who appreciates and is equally passionate about the things that you're passionate about, and then cater to them. All right? That is humongous. I cannot tell you how many people have failed because they think that just because they're passionate about it, that everyone else is. And so it's nothing more frustrating than to do and provide what you're passionate about, only to find out that no one else is passionate about it, at least the ones that you've been trying to reach. This is why you have to do your market analysis. You have to find out who those people are, where they hang out, and then that's like fishing. And I like fishing. I don't like fishing, but if you like fishing, I'm not a fisherman, but I do understand. I've tried it a couple of times. That's why I know I don't like fishing. I've already tried. That's for other people. But one thing I do know, if I'm going to go fishing, I'm going to go where the fishes are. Okay? I'm not going to cast my rod and my reel into my tub full of water. It may have water in it, but throwing my rod and my reel, casting my reel, rod or reel or my bait into the tub and start reeling it in, I'm not going to get any fish. Why? Because there's no fish in the tub. I've got to go to the lake. I've got to go to the creek. I got to go even to the ocean. Go where they are. That's why it's important for you to realize, okay, what do I want to bring to market? Whatever it might be, you had better make sure that you know where the fishes are. And I know fishes, whatever. You got to know where the fish are. Because if you're going to go fishing for them, you better know where to find them. Otherwise, you're going to be casting and reeling, casting and reeling, casting and reeling. And after a while, you're going to get tired of casting and reeling and nothing's coming in on the line. The reason nothing's coming in is because you're fishing in the wrong area. Okay? So find out. And one of the greatest ways to do that is online. All you got to do some time. You got to do some research. You got to do some going into groups and reading what people are saying. Find out what these groups, maybe you like knitting. I'm just using that as an example. But say you like knitting, find a knitting group online, find out where they exist, and then what are they talking about? And maybe there's something that you can provide to help make knitting easier. The only way that you're going to be successful in getting that product to the marketplace is knowing where those people who benefit the most from what you're providing. Okay? So again, I want to spend this time with you today and just share that simple principle that success is not a secret. Success is not a matter of chance. Success is a matter of choice and intentionality. You have to be intentional about everything. And don't be so super spiritual. I'm talking to my church folk now, who believes that God is going to do everything for you. That if I pray and I ask God to do it, he'll do it. Not necessarily so. Because I said earlier, Kimberly got it right. God will never do for you what you can do for yourself. You got to remember that, because that's going to make the difference. It's going to take a lot of the effort out of your work, and it's going to require you to do some work, but you got to be diligent, and you have what it takes. Spend some time. I want to challenge you, spend some time just quiet and allow your mind to just take over. I mean, not your conscious mind, but your subconscious, where your imagination resides. And begin to imagine seeing yourself being, doing, and having the things that you want to have in life. Maybe it's more time with your family. Can you see yourself spending more time with your family because you don't have to work 12, 13, 14 hours a day? Now you can work whenever you get ready to go to work. Or how about vacation? Going on vacation when you want to go on vacation, wherever you want to go on vacation. How about that? See, that's why, again, I'm a strong proponent of, again, it must happen here in the area of your mind first. Your imagination is the key to your destination. Because if you can dream it in your mind, you can have it in your life. I say it like this all of the time. Your mindset will affect your asset. If you can, and if you're saying, well, that's all well and good, but how can I get all this kind of thing done? But remember, if you can always find someone to agree with you. There's a power in coming together in agreement and believe for that very same thing. Now, it might be a challenge for you to find someone who's in agreement with you, but there may be someone you can go to, maybe your best friend, some trusted individual, someone you already trust, okay? Not a new friend, one that you can already trust. And just say, hey, can you agree with me on this? I'm believing for this. Okay? And then watch the manifestation. I believe in manifestation. I believe in affirmation. I believe in declarations. I believe in decrees. I believe in the power of the spoken word. If you can speak it, you can manifest it. The Bible says that the power of death and life are in your tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. That simply means you're literally going to eat your words. What have you been saying? If you speak it, you're going to have to eat it. And that'll make you watch your words. That'll make you pay attention to the things you've been saying, particularly the things you've been saying about yourself. Oh, I can't do it. That's too hard. That's for somebody. I don't have the education. I don't know how to get it done. And so your words are going to determine what you're going to eat, because again, the power of death and life are in your tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit You're going to eat your own words. So now, order your words correctly. In the words of grandma, if you can't find something good to say, don't say nothing. All right? Watch your mouth. All right? That being said, I've got to get out of here for this broadcast. A lot of I see Kimberly, boy, she's jotting it down. She's taking some good notes. You should follow Kim. Okay, your mindset will affect your assets. It will affect every part of your assets. Your money won't. Your money. If you don't understand this, your money will look funny. Your change will look strange. You won't have bus fare to the welfare. And the enemy will walk up the front of you, down the back of you. So you get this. That success is intentional. I've got a webinar I'm going to be doing for the month of July, and you got to get in on it. I'm going to show you, tell you about it this week. I don't have the graphics done right now for this broadcast, but it will get done today. And I want you to be a part of it. Every month, I've committed, I'm going to do one every month for the rest of the year to educate and bring you into a place where you can learn with practical tools and practical methodologies that is going to bring you into success. And I'm talking about, people always preach that, I want to hear about that get rich quick scheme. You better get rich as quick as you can. What do you want? You want to get poor quick? You better think. Yeah, what can I do to get rich quick? And of course, it has to be ethical and legal. But you can get the mindset and walk in the mindset that I want to get rich quick. What's the quickest method and the quickest means to get me to that level of income and abundance? It's possible, but you got to be willing to do the work. You've got to be willing to do the work. It's intentionality. Trust me when I tell you, it's not a matter of, oh, Father God, I come to thee, please provide this. Now, he will do what you can't do, but he will never do what you can do. And that's the part we have to play. All right, putting feet to your faith, walking it out, declare it out of your mouth, and be willing to do the work that comes with it. All right. All right, that's going to wrap it up for this time. But again, oh, by the way, I don't know if you heard today, I'm going to be on the 700 Club to give my testimony. They came into the house, my wife and I sat down with them, and we spent a good almost 8 hours with them to give them the testimony about my overcoming this heart attack. And trust me, nobody was more surprised about when the doctor said you had a heart attack. I'm like, who? Me? He said, yes, you've had a heart attack. As a matter of fact, you had at least 3 of them at that time. Ultimately, it was 4. I said, you have got to be kidding me. And then, of course, I went on to have a quadruple heart bypass surgery back in October. Thankfully, I've recovered and continue to recover from it. There's some still work that's got to be manifest. But hey, I'm getting better every day. And so I'm going to be there on I don't know what channel it may be for your local area, but make sure you check your local listings for time and whatever channel cable that might be coming on. Usually it's on the TBN. CBN will come on TBN, at least in our market. That's when it comes on. So check your listing on the time and location. Time that will be on. That's going to be exciting. So I'm super grateful for you joining me in this time together. If you want any more information, of course, all you got to do is write me at michaelnormanministries@gmail.com. That's michaelnormanministries@gmail.com. And of course, I'll be happy to hear from you. Again, I'm going to be doing a one-day webinar. It's teaching you how to start your own digital online marketing business. Now, listen, if you are not savvy as to how to navigate these technological streets here, I'm talking about getting on how do you navigate Facebook, Instagram? How do you navigate funnels? This is the biggest thing that we're going to be teaching you this at the end of this month. It's probably around the last Saturday in this month. So just be prepared for that and participate. I'm going to give you some invaluable information that you're going to need if you're going to compete in this 21st century generation. You've got to get some technical knowledge. You don't have to be a tech guru. You don't have to enroll into a 4-year university, but you do need some working knowledge. Okay? We're going to help you with that. I promise you that. All right. Thank you once again for joining us. That's going to wrap it up. Remember, join us again next Monday, same time, right here, Facebook, YouTube. And again, if you're on Facebook, make sure you go to my YouTube page. I want to build that up and make that as successful as possible. Okay. So if you're on YouTube, make sure that you click the like, subscribe button and be a part of what we're doing on YouTube. Okay. Until next time, stay blessed.